Commandments of wholesale, baby. We came up with these probably about a year ago as we were doing a bunch more transactions. We started wholesaling a ton, and it became very, very clear there's certain rules that we have to abide by as we're out there transacting at a high level. You know, when we first got started, we were doing 1 deal, 2 deals, 2 deals a month, 3 deals a month. It really, we were just kind of moving. It wasn't really pouring a bunch of fuel on the fire. But once we got to doing, 4, 5, 6 deals a month, or we do a month where we do 10 or 12, and then we'd go back down to like 3 the next month, trying to find consistency in the business. We came up with some hard and fast rules, and I want to share with you. I want to share them with you. It's the 10 Commandments of Wholesale. 1, on every appointment, you have to create value. Okay, so create value as you're across the kitchen table. If you're not listening, and if you're not really trying to dive deep into what's going on with the seller, what are the underlying problems, where can you solve those problems, and really looking about creating value across the kitchen table, your conversion rate is going to be way less. And it's super important that your conversion rate is at best as it can be, because typically you're only going to convert somewhere between 20 to 30% if you're on a qualified appointment and you're having a high-level conversation. So if you take the high-level conversation out of it and you're not creating any value, you're actually going to convert less, which is a big problem, right? You don't want to go on 10 and not take any because it's hard enough to get on these appointments. So create value, rule number 1. Rule number 2, all your money is made in the buy. Again, all your money is made in the buy. Don't get so caught up in like, well, I think I can push ARV. I think I can market ARV as higher than what it really is. You have to buy deep enough so you're able to transact in wholesale real estate, especially in the market we're currently in. If you're paying 70, 75 cents across the kitchen table knowing you're not going to perform, and you're trying to sell that thing at 78, 80, 82%, it's just not happening right now. There's no buyers out there in the market. At least I'm not connected to any buyers paying 82%. We got a couple of funds that are still doing well, but even them, even Open Door, OfferPad, they've went way back and buying deeper. So make sure you're buying deep enough. Our first pencil is 60 cents. That's not even true. We've bought a few lately that are 58 cents, 55 cents. So make sure that you're getting deep enough, and all your money is made in the buy. Rule 3. Deal is not a deal till it's a deal. And we tell all of our new wholesale guys, all of our new acquisitions guys, they come in, they're pumped up. We'll get them on some appointments. We're showing them the activities. They get on the appointment, they lock it up, and they do a phenomenal job. But the money's made in the buy, but you don't get the actual coin until you actually assign the contract, right? And this is why it's so crucial to make sure you have in buyers that are actually performing. Because if you have some dude that's just daisy chaining, you're 4 layers deep and you don't know if they're actually going to perform. There is no money exchanged until it is closed. Super, super important. So why I say a deal is not a deal till it's a deal is because you got to keep those level of emotions down. You want to make sure that you are staying locked in, man. Deals can go sideways extremely fast, and not just because of poor buyers, but also because you could have something come up that costs a lot of money. You find out there's a lien, right? Like we got one right now. There's a huge lien on the property of like $150,000, and there's just no way this lien could be paid off. We had another one with an $800,000 lien on a $300,000 manufactured home in Buckeye. So there's just no way that was going to be a deal. And if you count, what I find is as soon as you start counting your money, that's when deals go sideways. So don't count your money till it's there, and deal's not a deal till it's a deal. Number 4, no means no. No means no. You guys have heard it your whole life. No means no. And what I'm saying with that is like, if it's not a deal, don't force it. If you're not at the right buy number, don't think it could be something different than it is. And if you say no, a lot of these guys will start negotiating against you, especially if you're buying from other wholesalers. They'll really want to drive you, oh, did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? And you got to stay tight on your numbers. I've bought in a few houses over the last 12 months that I call relationship deals. I wanted to get in a relationship with someone. I bought it higher than I typically would. Every one of those deals has turned out to either be marginal at best. Marginal at best. I have 2 that I call relationship deals now that will probably lose money on because of the market shift. Now, I still did it. Like I still did it, and I lost like 20 grand on one of the houses, but because of that relationship, I did end up making, you know, probably 120 grand just in that relationship. So it worked out for me in the long run, but I was willing to lose money on the front end. So no means no, man. If it's not a deal, don't buy it. If you don't like it, don't do it. And when you say no, stick to no. Number 5, know your numbers. You gotta know your numbers. Number 5, know your numbers. You gotta know your numbers. It is super, super important you know what ARV is. It's super important you know what to buy it is. It's honestly very, very important as well that you know a little bit about the rehab process and what the cost of rehab is gonna be. Like if you're buying stuff that needs full guts, you better be, you know, going average square foot, $45, $50. If you're in the higher end stuff, it could be higher than that. If you're doing lipstick jobs, that's gonna cost you somebody 30, 35 bucks a square foot. If you're just doing carpet and paint, you need to know what carpet and paint costs, you know? So it's super important that you have a little bit of the construction on hand, and that's gonna be a little more difficult for some of the wholesalers because you guys aren't necessarily actually flipping the properties, you're all about turning the paper, right? But know your numbers, know what your ARV is. So I have 2 ARVs that I like to use. I have a cake ARV. Cake ARV is exactly what it sounds like. I know I'm gonna get this number when I sell it. I know 100% I am gonna get this number. And I have a push number. My push number is what I think I could potentially get. I never buy off of a push number. I only buy off of a cake number. And right now, I'm taking ARV minus 15%, and I'm buying off of that number because of a market adjustment. You know, we hear, you know, the market's adjusted 8, 10% across all price points. Sure, that's great, but I want to make sure that I'm protecting my investors' money. I want to make sure I'm protecting our profit margins. So you just got to buy deep. So know your numbers. Know your numbers across the board. And listen, when the numbers don't match up, refer back to number 4. No means no. The numbers aren't right, don't buy the deal. Don't force deals, guys. You start forcing deals, you'll never make money. Even a wholesaler, if you force deals as a wholesaler, you won't make money because someone else isn't gonna see what you see or think that they can push the way you push. You're not gonna monetize that deal, especially in a market where so many buyers are pulling back right now that it's gonna be hard to push a product out there or an assignment out there that is just not firing on all cylinders. Number 6, expect the unexpected, right? Something always goes on. You know, I think we're probably at 100, 110 transactions in the last, 15 months or so, a combination of retail and wholesale. And it's rare that it's super smooth. It's rare that there's not something that we have to jump through a hoop on. You know, like right now, I got one that needed a septic cert. We'll no longer close on a house that has septic because we've had so many issues with septic. So we have to get the cert for it. So we literally had to pay for a dude to go out there. And listen, I'm wholesaling this. I'm not even in the buyer. I'm not even the end buyer. I paid for a dude to go out there. I'm spending like $1,000 to clear the land because the guy hoarded so much just so we could get the septic cert, okay? And then I'm gonna wholesale it. My buyer is a real end buyer, so I'm not scared to throw the $1,000 up. I know that he's gonna perform as long as he has a good septic cert. So, you know, it's super important that you expect anything to go wrong, but you got to be prepared to jump into the trenches and figure that stuff out. If something goes wrong and you're just gonna retreat and kind of, not push through it, I would tell you to just get out of the wholesale business, to be honest with you, because stuff's gonna go away. You're gonna have to think outside the box. You're gonna have to figure out how to get stuff done. You might have to spend some money to get some deals across the table. So just expect something to happen, and then you're prepared for it to happen. Okay, you guys have heard this. So many people have said it besides me, but rule 7, trash equals cash. And that means the nastier the house, the better. Like, our houses that we've been able to buy at like 50 cents is because there's human feces out back. There's people that have been pissing in bottles for 6 months because the plumbing's bad. Houses with 50, 60 dogs in it, just urine everywhere. And just the like houses that you want like a respirator to walk through. Or super hoarder houses. You'll walk in, stuff all the way to the ceiling, and it's just crazy stuff. Those are the houses that we get super excited about because you got to be able to look past that. This one that I'm thinking about right now is we had probably 50 dogs inside this house. We've owned it for a month. and we've gotten 11 dumpsters. So we're 12,000 in the dumpsters right now, but I'm excited because I was able to see past all that, knowing my numbers, knowing that I was going to have a high dollar amount to pull all the trash out. I could just adjust my buy price for, I think I adjusted 18,000 just to clear the house out. So I might make a few $1,000 on that. Okay, rule 8, monetize everything. And this is why I believe in like the agent that's an investor so much, or that's why I believe in my Foursquare so much, is because when you're across the kitchen table, you want to be able to have options for these sellers to go into. And if you're not an agent, that's okay, but you better have another way that you could either get a referral from an agent for listing the property, or you have a creative financing way to hold it, or a seller carry way to JV the flip, or whatever. You got to have options across the kitchen table so you're able to monetize everything. Anytime you're sitting down with someone that wants to transact, you don't want to just pigeonhole it into only wholesale, only flip. There's so many other ways to transact in real estate. I think it's a misstep to leave money on the table. I'm not saying you have to service it. I'm not saying you have to go get your license. But what I'm saying is if you're across the kitchen table, the seller in the house, absolutely, they want to list it. And you're not buying it at 60 cents on the dollar, and you have to, and you're walking out without doing anything. Why not tee up another agent that can go and list the property and cut you a check for 25% as a referral? I know it's illegal, but I mean, there's other ways you can figure stuff out. There's other things that you can do. Maybe you get your license just to take the referral fees. Like there's other things you can do. Okay, so 9, be the investor. Okay, and we see this across the board. Is like we go on these appointments, and especially agents. You go on these appointments, and they're just thinking about, oh, I got to get the client the most amount of money. I got to do this. I got to do that. And the truth is, you need to look at every opportunity you have across the kitchen table for you to invest in real estate. Okay, and wholesalers, same thing, right? If you're across the kitchen table with someone that wants to sell at a 58 cents number, you need to be thinking, and how can I keep this property? What does it look like for me to keep it, buy and hold it, get my positive cash flow up? And I understand big cracks are fun. I love them too. But you guys need to be thinking about, how can I be the investor? And it's always me first, right? I want to provide a solution. Whatever solution they pick, I'm unattached to the outcome. But if that solution is going to help me be the investor and help my family generate wealth, I'm all about it. And it's a win-win for the client and for me. Rule 10, dude, this is my favorite rule. I kind of throw it in as fun, but leverage impact. And what I mean by that is leverage the people that you're around. If you're in our world, absolutely hit us up anytime. Love to help show you how to monetize deals. But there's a ton of investors, and there's tons of groups, and there's tons of people out there doing this stuff. And when I first got into it, it was super cool to be connected to so many different players that were able to help me. Steve Valentine, Templeton Walker. I learned a ton from Pace Morby, even though Pace wasn't really in my world. I could devour some of his content that he was doing for free. John Martinez, I was able to do some of his classes and learn this stuff. And it's just, you got to just find the people that you can take the nuggets so you can then build the business that you want. So I would love to be that source for you. Impact would love to be that source for you. But just get into a group out there. Miguel and Rodolfo over at SoulPod, phenomenal dudes. Like, there's so many great people in this industry. And I just totally believe if you're trying to build something, especially if you're new, don't be scared to get into someone else's world to learn this business so you can then go create what you want. And these are the 10 commandments. And the reason I believe in them so much is because of all the mistakes we've made. We've made mistakes where we put someone on a contract and then couldn't monetize it. We made mistakes on cash buys that I bought too high that we barely got out of, but the market was so great we got out of it. It's been an up and down battle for sure. We've made a few $1,000,000 doing this stuff, and it's awesome. But the truth is, we've learned a lot. I got 4 properties right now that collectively we might lose probably $100,000 to $150,000 on, but we're not stopping buying, right? The market shifted. We thought we had banger houses and they were going to be amazing, but we got into construction problems, so we had to go find the construction and solve that problem. So a ton of stuff can happen. This industry is super lucrative and it's amazing, but if you follow these rules, you follow these 10 commandments, I hope you wrote them down. If you follow them, it'll just be that much easier. And if you guys ever need anything, man, hit me up. I got you, and I hope you guys have an amazing day.